Hello everyone. Last video we discussed and learned about the various planning process. Let's do a recap of it. The first planning process is setting objectives, developing premises, identification of alternative courses, evaluating the alternative courses, selecting an alternative course, implementing the plan, and follow-up action. Now, this is the last topic in your chapter called planning, that is types of plans. This question is a very important question for an 8 marker as well as for a 4 marker. So once we complete this topic, you will be aware or you will know what is the importance of planning, the features of planning, planning process, limitations of planning, as well as the different types of plans. Now, before we can move in to the topic, now what is the main reason that an organization has to use various plans? Okay, so before an organization prepares a plan, the organization has to decide related to the operations or related to the type of business or related to the type of project that the organization is undertaking, what kind of a plan the organization should use or implement. That is the reason these plans are classified into several types. Okay, that is depending on the use and the length of the planning period. So certain plans are short-term certain plans are only for short-term purpose, and certain plans have long-term purpose. That is, for a period of short time, you use certain plans to achieve the goals. If you want to use the plans for a very long period of time, you will use certain different types of plans. So, as per the classification, the plans are divided into two types, that is single-use plan and standing plan. Before we categorize them, these are the types of plans. You see purpose, objectives, policy, strategies, rules, procedures, programs and budgets. But purpose and mission is not there in your book. That purpose and mission will be referred to as methods. Okay, so just a small diagram I have inserted for you. Now these 4 plans come under long-term plan. Long-term plan means the objectives, what you are achieving or the usage of plan is for a long period of time. It's not just for a month or just for few days. Okay, so short-term is rules, procedures, programs and budget. These are all short-term plan, probably a 1-year plan or a month. All these will be called a short-term period or plan. Now the next one is, I was telling you that plans are classified basically on 2 categories, that is standing plan and single-use plan. The word standing plan, word itself tells you that it occurs regularly and whatever it helps in operations, the operations of the organization will function very smooth if you're using the standing plan. And one more thing is, you are using it for every time to time. You will not be using it. You are using it. It's a recurring situation that you're going to use it, and you will keep using this sort of plan. That is standing plan. But if you're asking what is single-use plan, single-use plan word itself tells you it is only used for one-time event or a project. It is not recurring in nature, whereas standing plan is recurring in nature. Okay, and the duration of plan for this particular single-use plan, it depends on a week or a let's say month or a year. So the usage of this plan is for a short period of time. And examples of these plans are budget, project and programs. So that is how this diagram, the small diagram that shows you the relationship between a standing plan. Remember, standing plan keeps recurring in nature. That means every single day you keep using it for like 10-15 years. But a single-use plan is not recurring in nature. You'll use it for a month, a year or probably a week. So the next one is, what are the types of plans? Okay, an organization has to prepare a plan before making any decisions related to a project. Plans can be divided into several types depending on the use, the length of the planning period. Now, I have already told you this in the previous slide. Plans are divided into two. One time event is, see, whatever single, you need to know the meaning of single use plan and standing plan. So let's start with single plan. Single use plan is one time event, one time project, non-recurring situation. That means you are only using it for those situations like which are new, where you feel that okay, there's a problem. For this problem, what is the solution? You find a solution and you use it only for that period. Okay, you're not going to continue using it. So once the problem is solved, that's all. That planning is done for that particular purpose. So that's what is called as a non-recurring situation. Duration of plan depends on the project. That is, it can be a month, year, or a week. What are the examples? They'll ask you for a 1 marker. Give them an example for a single use plan. Budgets, projects, and programs. Now, what is a standing plan? I told you already, it keeps occurring regularly. That means you will keep using it for years together. It ensures interval operations for the smooth run of the organization. That means what? You are continuously using this particular plan. Reason because you have to use it. Only if you use it, the organization will run smooth. The organization will be able to achieve its goals. Then it's recurring in nature, developed once but modified from time to time. Modified from time to time means what? You keep modifying it, you only make changes towards it, but you're not changing the entire plan. Okay, so standing plan includes policies, procedures, methods, and rules. Again, they'll ask you 1 marker. Give examples of a standing plan. Now the next one is, now from here your 8 marker starts. So please mark it, very, very important. It will also be asked for a 4 marker. So it's always better that you all study this particular answer. Now, what is the meaning of, what are the different types of plans? And you need to know how is it different, like how objectives are different from strategies, how strategies are different from policies, how methods are different from, let's say, rules. All these are the things which you need to know. There is a tactic or there is a specific word which you can learn for every, let's say, every point. And that's what I'm going to help you with. Now, all of you know what is the meaning by objectives. By now, you know, objectives are goals which is set by the top level organization. And they are like guidelines which has to be followed by everybody in the organization. Only if the objectives are followed, we can accomplish the goals in the organization. That is, you very well know. As well as you know another point telling that objectives are benchmarks towards which performance has to be achieved. That means they're setting a benchmark, means standard performance is set towards which the employee's performance is being measured. Correct, right? So what are objectives? It is set by top level management. It lays down guidelines for activities, serves as a benchmark for measuring the performance. Objectives need to be expressed in specific terms. Now, please underline or remember this. Objectives should be measurable. That is, remember about standard performance. I told you standard performance is set by the organization. Now, whatever standard performance is set, it should be measurable in terms of quantitative terms, and it should be you should be able to prove, telling that yes, this is what we have given the employees to achieve. So, written statements by which the results need to be, by when the results need to be achieved. That is, by, let's say, within 8 hours you need to complete 100 emails. So I'm telling you, these are the standards. You need to achieve these standards within 8 hours. So I'm very specific in terms of telling you when to achieve your goals. And this is the first step in the planning process also. Setting objectives. So the first point of types of plans is very simple. So I'm going to move on to the second one. The second one is strategies. Again, see the common sentences. Objectives is set by the top level management. Again, strategies are set by top level management. Underline it. Okay, so what is the connection between objectives and strategies? It's set by the top level management. So how is it helping? It is set by the top level management for successful accomplishment of objectives in the organization. Now, what are they saying? Objectives are set telling that 100 emails need to be completed within 8 hours. Now, how is an employee going to complete that 100 emails within 8 hours? What is the strategy that they're using? Now, let's say, for example, we are working on Microsoft Outlook. That's the Exchange mail. It's just like your Gmail and your Yahoo. You're going to use Microsoft Outlook. So this Microsoft Outlook is purely for client-based or purely for work-based professionals who have to send and receive emails. They'll work through Microsoft Outlook. So what is happening? This Microsoft Outlook, now what are the basic strategies to complete your 100 emails? Now, first strategy what I would actually do is I will see from the same subject line. I will sort the emails with the same subject line. Okay, let's say if the let's say I've received a mail from, let's say, Ryan. Okay, now the subject says I need the payment details of invoice 2-3. Okay, this is the subject matter. I need the payment details of invoice 2 and 3. So what I will do with the same subject, I will sort and see how many mails are there. I see with the name Ryan asking for the same payment of 2 and 3 invoice number. There are 3 emails. So what I will do, instead of going from last clicking on Ryan, I'll click on the latest email of Ryan, and I will see what are the things he's asked. So I can get the full thread of emails. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So what I see is the previous email he has asked, he wants payment details of invoice number 2 and 3. Then about that he sent another email telling I need I need the payment details of invoice number 4 also. So it is just one solid email I have to answer. I don't have to respond to the first email and the second email. I will definitely respond to the latest email what I have received, because it has all the thread lines of the whatever details I need to know. So what is it? Now in those 100 emails what I had to respond, 3 emails are already completed. Why? Because 2 emails were duplicate and the first email was the correct email which I had to give out the answers. So that is what. Now what are the several strategies? Now there will be other things. Let's say you are sending a mail to, let's say, Ryan, or let's say you're sending a mail to someone else, but that someone else is gone out of station. Now he'll activate his mail as out of office. I'm not working at office. I'm out of office for like 2 to 3 days. Now I will get a bounce back from his mail telling so and so person is out of office. Now how many out of office emails I have, I will sort all those emails and I will delete all of them. Now in reality, will I have 100 emails that I have to work? I will have less than 100 emails that I have to work. Why? Because there's so many duplicate emails. There are so many out of office emails. So what will happen? The proper emails or the correct count of emails, how much ever I have to work, that is what I will record. So these are the strategies which an organization will implement to achieve their objectives. Correct? So these strategies are also set by the top level organization. The top levels will tell you if you have to complete the emails. These are the small tactics that you need to use, strategies that you need to use just to achieve your goals. So what are they saying? It refers to the future decisions and defines the scope of the organization in the long run. So today, tomorrow, or probably after 1 year or so, if you need to teach another employee about your, let's say, about how your job functions, okay? So what you will do, you will tell, you know what, these are the strategies or these are the tactics I'm using to finish my job, okay? So probably you can also use. So what are you doing? On the long run, you are teaching all this to other people also. So that will be helpful for them. So that is what is called as strategies. So the third one is policies. What is the meaning of policies? Policies are general statements. Please underline the word general statements. Now, if we go to the next page, you will see rules, okay? Rules are also called statements, but they are called specific statements. That's why I'm telling you about both. Policies are general statements. What are rules? Rules are specific statements. Okay, so what are policies? Policies are general statements which serves as a guide. Okay, it helps as a guide for the thinking and channelizes energies towards a particular direction in the organization. They provide a framework for decision makers on how to act while taking decision. Now, what are they? They are also a framework. What is the meaning of framework? Example, I'll say a photo frame. Now, whatever pic is there inside the photo frame, if the pic comes outside the photo frame, either the face gets cut or the photo is not proper that you can see it. Yes, so only if the photo is perfect inside the photo frame, you can view the photo properly. So same thing like that. Whatever statements are provided, whatever details are provided in the organization which has to be followed by everybody, it has to be followed within that particular framework. We cannot say no, we will not follow it. Okay, and these are general guidelines or general statements which we have to follow. Probably we can make changes here and there, but still we have to follow. Example is what? Recruitment policy and purchase policy. What's the meaning of recruitment policy? I want to hire. Recruitment means what? Selecting employees into the organization. That is, selecting worthy employees into the organization. Now, let's say my job is I'm the recruiter of, let's say, a company called ABC. I want to recruit someone for a post of senior finance associate. I want to recruit. Now, tell me, when I'm asking individuals to send me resume either through various job folios, will I ask for someone who's completed MCom or BCom or BBM? All these educational field will I ask, or will I ask someone to apply from the background of BCA and MSc? All these. Definitely my recruitment policy will be that if it is a finance process, you will have to hire someone who's done their education in finance background or accounts background. That is the basic recruitment policy. So what is the general guidelines or general statements that you're following? When you are going to recruit people, these will be the statements which will be written, or these will be statements which every organization has to follow. That is what? Basic ones, like what I was just telling you. If you want someone for a finance post, definitely you'll hire someone who's done BCom and MCom and MBA. You will not take in someone who's done MSc and BCA and some other course in accounts and software. Correct? So same thing with purchase policy. Organization is telling you these are the 50 suppliers from whom you can purchase things. So if I'm working for this company ABC, I have to abide by whatever 50 suppliers are listed in the company. I cannot cross myself and go and take in buy things from other suppliers. Correct? So the next one, procedure. What are these procedure? Now there is one thing I need you to listen carefully under procedure. Now what is this procedure? Now let's say you want to cook a recipe. Okay, you want to do, let's say, tomato chutney. Now what is the first step that you will do for in a tomato chutney is, let's say you're cutting onions, you cut the tomatoes. So you take a kadai. The first thing is you're going to add oil. So your second thing is you're going to add all the dry ingredients of mustard and jeera and whatever you want to add. So what is a procedure? A procedure is nothing but step by step. It tells you how you need to carry out your activities. It gives you detail and exact manner in which your work should be performed. And it goes into a chronological order. Chronological means what? Small to big. It tells you step 1. This is what you need to do. Cut the tomatoes, cut the onions. Step 2. Heat the oil. Okay, step 3, when the oil is heated, add all the ingredients. So what is it? All these steps put together is what is called as a procedure. Again, I'll repeat. All the steps put together is what is called as a procedure. Why am I asking you to understand what I'm saying? Because this is somewhere related to methods. Okay, so you need to understand. Now let's look into the PPT. Procedures are routine. Routine means every time you do the job, you do the same steps over and over again to achieve the goals or the objectives. Okay, routine steps on how to carry out activities. The plans prescribing the exact time. So remember a recipe. Think of a recipe. You let's say you Google for tomato chutney. It tells you it takes 15 minutes for you to cook. Preparation time. So what is it? Is it giving you an exact time? Yes, it's giving you an exact time by when you can complete your job. They provide series of steps to be followed in regular order. Isn't your tomato chutney recipe giving you step-by-step instruction what to do? Yes, very true. And for accomplishing work, procedures are the guidelines. Again, it is guidelines, just like the one we read before. Okay, it is guidelines just like policies and to action, and they are usually intended to the workers, which is repeated in nature. Please double underline the word repeated in nature. So every time you want to do tomato chutney, you need to follow the same recipe. Why? Because tomato chutney doesn't have another recipe. Probably some ingredients would change, but at the end of the day, tomato chutney needs to have tomato. Correct, no girls? Good joke. So example, procedure for execution of the customer's order for supply of goods. Okay, if you want to send goods to the supplier, same procedure you have to follow. Okay, create an create an indent, send it to the customer, ask if the customer likes it, he's approving it. Then once he approves, he'll call you and he'll inform you. Then send the goods and then send an invoice copy for which payment would be done. Procedure for the admission of students in the college. Even you come and study 3-4 times in your college, in the whichever college you want to study in, the procedure is the same. They'll ask you for your previous year's marks card, your transfer certificate, your photos, whatnot. They would ask you. The procedure is the same. So next one is methods. Now what is method? Please again come back to the same tomato chutney recipe. Okay. What is a step 1? We are cutting the onions and the tomatoes. What is a step 2? Our step 2 says we have to heat the oil in a kadai. Okay. Now what is your step 1? Cutting your tomatoes and your onions is what is called as a method. Now you may get a little confused, but there is no need for you to get confused. What is a method? I am telling you, cut your onions and tomatoes finely chopped. Or you can cut your onions and tomatoes little big. When you fry it, let's say you fry it little brown, it will taste little more good. So what is written in every step of your procedure is what is called as your method. So step 1, whatever you have written there is your method. Step 2, whatever you've written there is your method. Step 3, whatever you've written there is called your method. All these 10 steps put together is what is called as a procedure. Did you understand? Okay, so what is method? It deals with each step of the procedure. Okay, and specifies how each step is to be performed. So step 2, what am I telling you? Heat the vessel really well. Once you heat it, add oil. Then once the oil starts making little sputtering noise, add little mustard and jeera. What am I telling you? Detailed things I'm telling you in your step. That is what is called as the method. Now what happens? The method may differ from step to step, from one recipe to another recipe. The method will definitely differ. Why? One tomato chutney is saying first you cut onions and tomato. Second tomato chutney is saying you cut onion, tomato and you green chilies and you take curry leaves also. So what are they telling you? Every step differs, okay, in a method. Selection of proper methods saves time, money. So please underline, selection of proper methods saves time, money and efforts, and it also helps in increasing the efficiency in the organization. Example, training employees under on-the-job training or off-the-job training. Remunerating means what? Paying salary. Remunerating salesperson under commission method. The 6th one. Girls, it's very simple. You just need to know what is the difference between each. What sentences differ. If you know what sentences differ, this answer is very, very easy for you. Rules. Now all of you know what are the rules in our let's say in your schools and colleges. Wearing your ID card, ensuring you are in full uniform, ensuring you're listening to your teachers and your principal. All these are rules. Okay, so what is it? Every organization has rules which has to be followed. Please know it. This is also a framework, and I told you one sentence before. It is specific statement. Specific means what? Depending on the situation, it is specific to the situation. You have to compulsory follow it. It is very easy reason because once you say it is a rule, you have to follow these rules. Every organization has to follow. Like examples I was telling you, every organization, all the employees, Monday to Thursday, they will be in formals. Okay, but Friday they can dress up in casual. That also, men should not wear a U-neck t-shirt depending on different organizations, but the ones where I work, men had to wear a t-shirt which had a collar. Men could wear jeans, they could come with their sneakers and all that. But again, they have to ensure that they have the ID card, and girls cannot wear a lot of revealing clothes. So they have to dress decent even if it is a casual day. Correct? So every organization likes to operate in an orderly way. Orderly way means in a very precise, in a very correct or a functionized manner without any confusion. Rules are established principles. What is the meaning of principles? Statements which are true, which have to be followed. Okay, for carrying out the activities in a systematic manner. Systematic manner means orderly manner. Business organizations lays down certain rules which are specific statements, and rules are rigid. Rigid means can you deviate? No, you cannot deviate. So please make a note of it and underline it. They do not permit any deviation. Deviation means can you change any rule? No. How many ever years you're going to work in the organization, same set of rules will follow for every new employee and every old employee. So you cannot deviate from the rules. And demands strict compliance. So do you know, if any employee does not adhere or listen to the rules, they will be issued a warning letter from their team leader or manager or the HR person, depending on how severity they are breaking the rule. They are violation and attracts disciplinary action or penalty, just like what I was telling you. Okay, so example, wearing your ID card, no smoking, no admission with permission. I was telling you, most of the organizations, if the guys and girls want to smoke, they have a smoking zone, probably somewhere outside nearing to the parking zone. That's where you park your vehicles and all. Further, little more further, you will have a smoking zone there. That is the only place where you can go and smoke, not even in the cafeteria. Or certain companies don't even have a smoking zone there. They have to go and smoke outside the organization gate. Okay, again depends whether we are talking about a tech park or what, but they are very strict on certain rules and regulations, and it has to be followed. Like example, employees cannot come drunk to office. The minute you come drunk to office, there itself you are given a letter and you're thrown out the first instance itself. Again depends on organization. It's a zero tolerance level, which they will always tell you when you're joining the organization. These are the things which we will not tolerate. Correct? So the next one, programs. A program is a precise plan which lays down the operations to be carried out to accomplish. See, more than you remembering such a big paragraph, the only thing I will ask you to remember is, please remember, it is not repetitive in nature. Okay? What am I telling you? I am only asking you to remember, it is not repetitive in nature. We are using it for a particular project. Okay? And when that project gets over, this program also gets over. Example, I will tell you. Okay, in the month of let's say in the month of December, we need to sell let's say 1,000 cars. Okay, that is in the month of December. We need the showroom people needs to sell 1,000 cars. Now December is a month of Christmas. So how are you going to sell 1,000 cars? You will say the first 500 people who come and buy the cars, we will give 40,000 rupees off. Okay, whichever car they are selecting. So let's say if it is a 5 lakh car, you are telling first 50,000 is off or 40,000 is off, means they have to pay the remaining amount in however they want to pay. So what is it? These programs are there only for specific time period, okay, and it is not repeating in nature. Like Diwali offers you're giving Christmas offers like bonuses. So what is happening? These programs are not repeating and they are only carried out to accomplish the goals in a specific time period. That's in the month of December, in the month of October, in the month of June or July. I understand, like Pongal, Diwali, all those kind of things, with all those kind of plans which organization comes during those months. That's what is called as programs. Okay, so it's not repetiting in nature. That's the word you need to remember. A program is a precise plan which lays down the operations to be carried out to accomplish a given task. Please underline, within a specified speed of time. So within the month of December, you need to sell how many cars? 500 cars. They are framed for the works which are not repetitive in nature. Are you having the same offer in the month of February, March and August and April? No. So example, sale of 3,000 cars in the month of December. Program for production of 10,000 tons of steel in the month of December. So what you need to remember, 2 words. It's not repetitive in nature. It helps you to achieve your goals or precise plans which you're setting within a specific period of time. After that, you're not using this particular type of plan. The next one. What is a budget? A budget is a statement, okay, which teaches you or which tells you about expected results. Now please know, budget I've already taught you, it forecasts about the future. Like what now let's say you're in 2020. Now 2021, how much profit you want to earn. Now how much sales you have to do. What is your production that has to be done? How much raw materials, what's the money you need to spend? How many employees need to produce, like whether it is, let's say you're selling, let's say candles. So how many candles you need to sell every single day? If it was before 100, now you have to make it 200. Why? Because the profit that you want to incur next year in 2021 is double. So what is it? It is a statement which is expressed in numerical terms. Okay, it is a plan which quantifies future. Future means we are not talking about the present, we are talking about the future. And all these numbers and numerics will be based on a lot of facts and figures. Okay, example, sales budgets may forecast the sales of different products in each area for a particular month. How much you need to sell in a particular month so that you can achieve your target every single month. Okay, and a budget is also prepared to show the number of workers required in a factory at peak production time. That's what I was telling you. Like last year you manufactured 100 candles. This time you want more profit. So what you'll have to do, you need to check and you need to see how many candles every month should the employee manufacture. Like every single day, is it like 100? Is it 150? Is it 200? That is what you need to check. Okay, so budget also is a control device. Why is it saying it's a control device? You don't want to earn a loss here, you want to incur a profit. So that is the reason they are saying it's a control device which tells you how to achieve your targets. Okay, from which deviations can be taken care of. What is deviations? Deviations means changes. So if there is any changes, or if you're deviating, like if you're deviating, you need to ensure that if I deviate into this direction, what am I going to incur? Am I going to incur a profit? Yes, so all this is what a budget teaches you. Understood? So this budget, the paragraph for budget is not here in your PPT. But don't worry, you have already written it down in your notebook. Okay, so you please underline the words there in your notebook. And again, I'll tell you, it's specific. It's a statement which is expressed in numerical terms. Okay, it is a plan which quantifies the future facts and figures. That means, let's say an account, a balance sheet like of last year, you want to check what will be the amount of profit next year. You need to put imaginary figures, and depending on that imaginary figures, you need to see how much you need to how much raw material you need to buy, what is the production that has to be done, how much sales should be done, so that my balance sheet of next year will show this particular figure. Okay, so a budget will also be prepared to show the number of workers required in a factory at a peak production time. Peak means when the production is at the highest, when sales are happening to the highest. That means you need to produce more goods. So that time you need to have more employees. Correct. So thus a budget is also a control device from which deviations can be taken care of. So if there is any changes that is coming out, you can look into this budget, which the plan what you have prepared, and you can feel that okay, I need not go into that direction. This is what I have prepared, so I should stick along to this particular plan what I have already prepared. That is what a budget is. Now coming down, now we close the chapter called planning. These are the important questions which you need to know. There's no need for you to write it down because you already know them. Explain the importance and limitations of planning. What is planning? Explain the various features of planning. Explain the various types of plans, and explain the planning process. So all this I have already covered. The same questions can come for a 4 marker. Okay, so that's the reason I have put 8 marks or 4 marks. So you need to know. Please study this chapter. Any doubts, any comments you have, I'm sure you'll come up with doubts in this particular topic. If you have any doubts, please let me know so that I can. That is how you're going to let me know. Just type a comment. I will be able to solve your doubts, okay? Or probably when I meet you tomorrow in a call, that time I will solve all your